All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Vays, coming to you live from Panama City, where I'll be staying here all month. We have some awesome events. I got to promote these events some more. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome. So if you're anywhere near Panama City or it's a short flight away, you really want to come down here the last weekend of September. There's some really cool stuff going on in the last weekend of September. So let's go to the charts, and then I'll talk about it some more. All right, so my most important chart, and it will be my most important chart for the next 2 months, September, October, is the monthly Heikin-Ashi chart. Someone asked me to take a look at a 2-month chart, and hopefully I'll remember to glance at it right after this chart. Because the Heikin-Ashi chart, the last 2 bear markets ended on an MRI buy in the Heikin-Ashi chart. It happened here in, why did this just freeze? What the fuck? Wait, I don't know. All right, this one works. This one does. I am in a hotspot. I got an apartment here, but I don't have internet in the apartment yet. So I'm using my hotspot off my cell phone. So we have to deal with this for a little while. Let's see if we can restart the chart. A most important chart. I can't even navigate. Let's see if this works. All right, well, we can't look at it then, unfortunately. All right, so we're moving on to the weekly chart. But check it out if you have the MRI indicator. Check out that chart with the MRI indicator, the Heikin-Ashi version, which is right here. Otherwise, I'm using regular candles. I've accepted green and red versus hollow. Maybe one day I'll go to dark backgrounds, but I still like light color backgrounds. The weekly candle is coming to an end. Today is Saturday, and it's going to be a very weak candle, setting us up for a high probability of more downside in the near future. So the weekly chart does not look very healthy. Yeah, my monthly chart is screwed. I can try to go to a monthly chart here, and now I can go to a 2-month chart. But this is not the Heikin-Ashi version. This is the traditional version. And now we can try the 2-month chart. Someone was telling me that it has a really good setup. So the 2-month chart did give us an MRI top. I don't normally look at a 2-month chart, but it hasn't given us much else based on the MRI. So I'm not sure I would use the 2-month chart for much. I can try the Heikin-Ashi version and see if it's meaningful. Also gave us the MRI top, but it hasn't given us any MRI bottoms. And you guys know I prefer indicators that help you with tops and bottoms and continuations, which the MRI does all 3. So the 2-month chart doesn't do anything for me. So we're going to go back to the weekly chart. Not much on the Heikin-Ashi version, so I'm going to stay with the regular version. Okay, back to the basics. 4-day chart, our allocation chart. This is not a good-looking candle. I honestly don't want to stick a short position on here, but there may be a call for a short position below this line. I've attempted this before. Unfortunately, I was too scared to maintain that short position. That was back here. Back here, it was the same exact trade, and this stupid candle right there knocked me out of that short trade. And it was very, very unfortunate because immediately after that, the entire market collapsed. This look of the chart is no different than this. If this was a massive consolidation that had every element of collapse, major collapse, and if it wasn't for this one day where we spiked above the prior candle's high, this would have been probably the trade of the year to stay short, because it would have been very, very quick, and it's impossible to lose money on that trade. Trading is not easy. Don't let anyone tell you trading is easy. I am considering going back to trading. Everything's on the table, guys. I have one more conference coming up in November. There will not be any conferences after that November conference for a year. Also, I gotta tell my web developer for unconfiscatable. Unfortunately, unconfiscatable will not take place in October of 2023. It will take place in December of 2023. So you are gonna have to wait a little bit longer. We just could not do it right here. It says October 6 to 7. It's gonna be December 6 to 7. So we're gonna edit that. So keep in mind that unconfiscatable is a year and a half away, and I will have actual time to relax in the first quarter of next year, and we'll see how things progress and how things change. Because right now I'm not able to like regroup and reset and reevaluate businesses and everything else. So, but this look, I know it looks nothing like this, but to me, it looks exactly like this. It's just the concept is the same. We fell, we consolidated, we tried to rally, and we failed and then crashed. We crashed, we consolidated, we tried to rally, and we're now on the verge of a potential crash. I'm not happy about the situation, but that's what the chart is saying. This is very different than the oil chart. Very different. The oil chart is still insanely bullish. Oil chart is insanely bullish. We are sitting right at support. This is massive double support. Oh. Double support right here. I really don't care about the trolls that are saying, oh, Tone's been bullish. I didn't go bullish here. I went bullish here. You guys only started paying attention to oil being bullish here, right? No one paid attention to me saying, holy shit, oil is breaking out above consolidation, is going to go way higher. Holy shit, oil is breaking out above a prior swing high, and it just broke the MRI resistance line, it's going way higher. Holy shit, oil just broke another swing high, like a multi-year high from here in 2019, it's going way higher. Holy shit, it just broke another swing high, it's going way higher, right? You started paying attention here, right? That's why you're upset. You're upset because this is when you said, oh shit, what happened to oil, right? I've been bullish from here. So you got to start paying attention here, right? It's the same thing with the Bitcoin price. Is this monthly chart going to come back or what? I hate this. It really sucks. No, it's not going to come back. So I have like zoom out on the weekly. I can make this a monthly thing, right? So I go bearish up here, right? So going back to the last bear market, I become a bear on January 16th. I remember well, if you go back to my videos, I become a bear on January 16th saying, holy shit, we have a bear market. And then I triple down on being a bear right here in October. And then we crash. And then everyone starts paying attention. Oh shit. Okay, now I need to pay attention, right? Of course I was bearish over here. The chart looked like shit, right? But everyone else started paying attention here. I started paying attention there. So it's up to you when you start to pay attention. And then I was very skeptical of this rise, but I wasn't skeptical of this rise. I was a big bull the day after this big crash. So what am I thinking about oil right now? I'm bullish on oil. That's it. It's the end. I'm bullish on oil. All oil did was pull back to an area of very, very prominent support. Done. The end. I know this is a shitty candle, but we're still holding the trend line and we're still holding the prior swing high. So, done. Until we break this line, I am still bullish on oil. And I've been bullish on oil back there. And I don't see this as the generational high for oil. I still see us going back. Even with this red star candle. Even though the MRI is telling me I shouldn't be bullish. But we have to go and close below $83. Then I'll admit it's over. Right? But if you decided to go leverage long up here, well, so it's late to the trade. Late to the trade. I know I kind of left this and I never really talked about it, and I'm kind of leaving it there, but I've been talking about being bullish on oil the entire year of 2021. Like, go back to the videos and stuff. I will always be bearish at the bottom. I will always be bullish at the top. Always. This is how I trade. I will always, I'm telling you, like it's not a secret. Oh, Tone was bearish at the bottom. Tone was bullish at the top. Yes, I will always be bearish at the bottom because look, when the market starts to fall, right? Where is the bottom? Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? You never know when the bottom is. Things can always go lower. I will always be bearish at the bottom. I will always be bullish at the top. Always. It's how markets work. Take any market, right? If you're going to be bearish at a new all-time high, at which point are you going to buy the S&P 500? Well, like, this is what I don't understand about people. Like, I just don't get it, right? Look at the all-time history. Here's the weekly chart. Let's go to the annual chart. Here's the annual chart of the S&P 500, right? The S&P 500 made a new high almost every single year for 20 years, right? If you are the guy that is bearish at every single new top every single day, when would you have bought into this exactly? Of course I'm bullish at the top. Always, especially on a breakout. If you're not bullish at the top, you are a seller of the S&P 500 right here. In 1980, you go, holy shit, the S&P is at a new top. I should not buy it until the S&P makes a new low. Yep, you still haven't bought it. It's been 40 years. Of course I'm bullish at the top. Things will always go higher and things can always go lower. Speaking of this annual chart of the S&P 500, it's still bullish. We still haven't even broken this trend. Oh, look at the monthly chart. Look at the monthly chart of the S&P. We have an MRI warning. I need to get a mouse pad. I don't understand why everyone loves glass tables. Like those with a mouse, just hard to use it. We had an MRI top. It's not ideal. I would have been bullish at the top here. And we have an MRI buy coming up next month. October is the month that things generally rally. This is my Twitter. I need to go to the Financial Summit Twitter. Guys, the Financial Summit Twitter, we're about to start doing some awesome research on stuff. Follow the Financial Summit Twitter. It's really about finance. There's not going to be any politics on a Financial Summit. All the politics will be contained on the phone-based Twitter. Here's a 70-year history of the stock market. And September is one of the worst months for the stock market ever. So October is one of the best months for the stock market ever. And November and December is pretty good. So seasonality could really factor in. I really think we're going to bottom this year. I really do, in both the stock market and Bitcoin. All right, daily Bitcoin chart. The daily Bitcoin chart looks horrible. Looks really bad. We have a red star candle. The MRI kicked off a brand new downtrend today with this red star candle. And let's see what happens going into Monday. I'm very bearish the moment we break this support line. It is no different than the break of this support line. And while you may feel that going short on this day after Bitcoin had already lost, 3.5% that day, and almost 5% off the swing high that day, it had a lot more to go, and then it went down for the next 2 days. So again, things will always go lower if they can go lower. And not only is it going to be bad that we break below this, it gets uglier as we break below this purple line. A lot uglier. So yes, I am bearish on Bitcoin right now because the charts are telling me to be bearish. I will always be bearish at the bottom. I will always be bullish at the top. It's GBTC. No, it's not GBTC. It's the short-term chart. It's not pulling up, but it's okay. That's GBTC. That's oil. We already discussed it. Gold is about to break down. Of course, I will be bearish on gold at the bottom. It's about to break down. Correlation, S&P 500. I was bullish coming off this candle, coming off the MRI buy. We have not yet crossed the MRI support line. If we close a day below the MRI support line, I will then and only then become bearish on the S&P 500. Until that happens, just like with oil, I expect this area to be support and rebound us back to the top next week, even though September is supposed to be a very bad month. So let's see what happens really next. This should be the weekly chart. And that's it. This is the Russian currency. And I am, of course, bullish on the Russian currency appreciating versus the US dollar over the next decade. I have a very long-term outlook. And my long-term outlook geopolitically is that the Russian currency will appreciate against the dollar. One day, the US dollar index would be redenominated. Right now, 65% of this index is the euro, but by the end of the decade, I don't expect the euro to exist. So this index would have to be denominated with the Deutschmark and maybe a couple of other European currencies. And I doubt they would put the Russian ruble and the Chinese yuan in there, but they probably should. The Chinese yuan is pegged to the US dollar, so it's kind of useless to put it in the DXY calculation, but within a decade, it probably will not be, and it will be a standalone free floating currency, which it is not today. I expect it to be that way. And then the DXY would be redenominated with the Russian ruble, it should be anyway, with the Chinese yuan, and then you will not see this kind of shrink in the US dollar, because I think going forward over the next decade, the United States will be losing its dominance, and China and Russia will be gaining a lot of dominance. You may not like it, you may disagree with it, but that is my geopolitical outlook. I am bearish on the European Union, and I am very bullish on the BRICS, India as well. I am bullish on India. I'm actually still bullish on China, and I'm bullish on Russia. You may not like that political economic view. You can yell and scream all you like. I personally don't want China to be the global superpower, but the trend that the US is moving to, I would be surprised if China is not the world superpower within a decade from now, whether you like it or not. I will likely be living in Latin America, and I will let the north side of the globe fight it out. How can you be so bullish on DXY when everything in America is bearish? Well, because DXY is calculated against countries that are way further up shit creek than America is, right? So you got to look at the construction of DXY. That's why I am bullish on DXY. So you got to look at DXY. DXY calculation, I'm Googling it on another button. So here is the, I'll pull it up in a second. Right. So you have to understand what goes into DXY. DXY is 57% euro. I said 65, I was wrong. It's 13.6% Japanese yen, 11% pound sterling, 9% Canadian dollar, and then you have Swedish and Swiss franc. So tell me, are any of these currencies in a better position than the United States? And I'm gonna say no. Okay. The only one that has a chance is the British pound, but even look, Canada has like a complete Marxist in charge who's going to get reelected. I have very little doubt Trudeau is going to be out, right? The UK just kicked out their prime minister, and they're probably going to replace him with someone that's more in line with the World Economic Forum. We know Japan is in deep shit. They've been there forever. The Swiss, they just do whatever the hell America says. They don't even have banking privacy anymore. And Sweden, which is probably the most socialist country in all of Europe, right? So this is what the DXY is comprised of. So yeah, hell yeah, I am bullish on DXY. US ain't this bad. Like, I think US is still better than any of these places from an economic perspective. But I will take the BRICS over DXY. I will take the economy of the BRICS. especially if they add a few countries, especially if they add well, maybe not Argentina, but Argentina is having too many issues, especially if they add, say, Iran and Venezuela and Saudi Arabia. That's going to be tricky, though. It's going to be, if they add Saudi Arabia, they would add the UAE. That's going to be super tricky. This is like the one map I have open. So, the tricky part is if the BRICS can add Iran and Saudi Arabia into their economic union, and even Turkey. I think Turkey could have a shot. Turkey would have to leave NATO, of course. But if they can add Iran and Saudi Arabia, the problem with adding Iran and Saudi Arabia is that these countries really don't like each other. Like to the point of there might be a war, don't like each other. You know, Shia Muslim, Sunni Muslim, they really don't get along. And that's saying it very mild. So I would love for these countries to get along, and both of them get added to the BRICS. That would be that would strengthen the BRICS so much. But, and I'm being politically neutral here, right? That's just my view on the situation. And then you also want to add Venezuela. Hopefully they will get out of their, you know, economic mess. Here it's getting a little bit better over there. And if Argentina can, you know, stop defaulting, add Argentina in there as well. I have a way more positive outlook for the BRICS than I do for the West. And sooner or later, the BRICS will have a higher GDP than the West. The GDP of Europe plus America will be smaller than the GDP of the BRICS, especially if they add the Muslim countries, the Middle East, Iran, UAE, Saudi Arabia, plus the Latin American countries like Venezuela, like Argentina. They already have Brazil. Okay, hopefully El Salvador one day, you know, move up as well. Mexico is not going to be in the BRICS. They're too close to the United States. If Mexico decides to part ways with America, we could have a Russia-Ukraine situation on our hands. Same idea, same concept. So yeah. So this is why I'm very bullish on the US dollar, because it's measured against countries that are further along the Marxist path. Not that China is a bastion of freedom and democracy. Democracy isn't necessary for capitalism. It's not. It's really not. You can have capitalism under a dictatorship. It's just rare, but it's possible. They're two independent things. People confuse capitalism and democracy. People assume that capitalism needs democracy. It doesn't. Capitalism reigns pretty high in the UAE, which is not a democracy by any means whatsoever. You can certainly have capitalism. Russia is capitalist. It's not Marxist. It's capitalist, but it's not a democracy, at least not to the same extent as the West is. Meanwhile, the United Nations representatives are not elected. So what kind of democracy do you have in Europe where all of the leaders are not actually elected? Like Christine Lagarde, she's not elected. Klaus Schwab, he's not elected. These are the leaders of the EU. They're unelected. They're not elected. It's an illusion of democracy in the EU. Well, at least the UK kind of got out, and they can somewhat control their own fate. But we'll see what happens there. Like, just because you have a democracy doesn't mean you're thriving in capitalism. Like they're two independent things. One is your economic structure and one is your political structure. Most of the time, dictatorship is associated with tyranny and Marxism. Most of the time, but not always. And most of the time, democracy and free elections are associated with capitalism. But again, not all the time. You have to look at them as two separate things. America is a republic, which, as one of my favorite blogs that I haven't read in a while again argues, is the worst form of government. The US is a republic similar to Rome, and he argues that is actually the worst form of government because it's the easiest to corrupt and harder to alter. I got too much going on right now to start a political channel, but maybe next year. Maybe next year. I have not kept up with what's going on with this red border in a couple of days. I have to find time to catch up. Last I paid attention, Ukraine was taking some of this territory back and also trying to take this power plant back by shooting at it, I guess. So I got to keep up with the news. I am hiding out. Well, not exactly hiding out, but I'm hanging out over here. And I'm probably going to go to Costa Rica. And then I'm going to spend a lot of time in Brazil early next year and Mexico. Like, I honestly, I want to stay south of the equator as much as possible at this point. But I will be going to the Middle East, Turkey, Middle East, and then Asia later this year. Speaking of where I'm going, check out my calendar. Come hang out with us in Panama. We have an amazing meetup coming up. I will be a speaker. It's going to be at Emotions Dinner Theater. We have we're going to be taking out a yacht on Sunday all day. It's going to be like a $600 ticket to join us. 10 hours on a yacht, only open to about 30 people. So if you are going to come to town to join us at Emotions Dinner Theater, which is awesome, by the way, you got to check out their website. If you follow me on Instagram, you see me doing stories from there all the time. I'm staying walking distance from this place. A friend of mine owns it. I have a great time there. Great food, great performances. It's just an awesome place to hang out. So there it is. So come and join us there. We're going to do a meetup on that stage and then stick around for the shows. Really cool. There's also another private event on 21st and 22nd. I will show you the company, but they are having a private event. So if you are into certain type of real estate, check it out. It's called Ocean Builders. They build these pods. They only have 630 followers, guys. I think this project is super cool. They build pods like this. And the prototypes are ready. And I already know people that are buying these things. And then you got to find a place to install it and put it in. So you got to have some property rights of water. They also build these on land as well. It's very environmentally friendly. I do care about the environment a lot. I just don't want to force people and tax people for the environment. I rather promote technology that benefits the environment and promote technology that makes people voluntarily adopt that technology that is better for the environment, not force them at the point of a gun or regulation. But yeah, Grant's the CEO, friend of mine as well. And Chad, if you guys remember Chad and Chad's story, Chad, this is Chad. So Chad was the guy that almost got sentenced to death in Thailand for living in this thing with his Thai wife. So that was the story. We covered it on the World Crypto Network. I don't know how many of you guys remember that. So Bitcoin trader, I'm Googling it. Bitcoin trader death penalty. That's how I Googled for this article. It was in The Guardian. Here it is. So who remembers this story? We literally covered this exact article on the World Crypto Network 3 years ago. Or maybe on my own channel with Jimmy Star. I thought it was older than 3 years ago. When was this published? 2019. Oh, I'm not sure if I was in the, I think I was already off the World Crypto. We covered it somewhere. And US Bitcoin trader may face death penalty in Thailand over a sea hole. So he thought he, got approval from the Thailand authorities to live in this abandoned thing, like weather station. But apparently he did not have permission to live in this abandoned station. And the Thai authorities sent military or their version of Coast Guard to arrest him and his wife for serious charges. But they had a little boat here and they fled Thailand and made their way to Panama. So it's a crazy story. If you are not been in Bitcoin long enough, these are the kinds of stories we were covering back then. Would I ever live in Thailand? The way Asia handled COVID, I'm a little turned off by living in Asia. So I know South America didn't handle COVID great either, but there was more hope. There was just more hope we can talk about it in a minute. Anyway, so here they are. This was the Thai authorities coming to arrest Chad and his wife. And they fled down to Panama. And Chad was instrumental in helping create this company, Ocean Builders. He's involved in the company, but I'm not sure to what extent. And they've been trying to build these pods ever since, and they're finally ready to demo them. I mean, they've been in the news a lot. They had an online launch. I was busy, I couldn't make it, but keep an eye on this company. And they are having a private event. It's not for everyone, but it's for those that are able to purchase one of these pods, have a place to install one of these pods, or probably people that could help promote these pods to those that can afford them or can afford. They're a wholesaler. They're a manufacturer, I should say. They're a manufacturer and wholesaler of these pods, and then your company would purchase these, install them. I have no idea how you deliver this thing to Asia. Let's say it's not going to be cheap, or you're probably on a giant cargo ship, and then you got to install it. So they can probably be put, I guess it's how far you want to drill down. I have no idea. This got to be a crazy project, but I think it's awesome. I think it's great. You can put them right next to the land. You can even put them on the land. If you go to their website, they have land pods as well. I think this is super cool. I think this is super cool. That's why I keep talking about it right now. I think this is great. What happens when a tsunami hits? That's a good question. These are the kinds of questions that you ask the manufacturer when you go and visit it. What happens in the case of a tsunami? Well, if they are built strong enough, maybe they can withstand it. they're pretty waterproof, right? Like rain doesn't get into this thing, right? Could get damaged a little. But maybe you can hold out in this thing. But Tsunami doesn't like cover this thing in water for like a month straight, right? You probably hold out in this thing for like a few days. Water subsides. It may be strong enough to withstand it. I don't know. I really don't know. It's a good question. Also, you get a tsunami warning, you jump on a speedboat, and you try to climb up the mountain right there. Like again, I don't know. I mean, like, how is it different than beachfront property when it comes to a tsunami? Like, I'm just saying, I don't have the answer, but it's a good question. It doesn't have to be in the water. It could be in the land. And again, this is where I am environmentally friendly. I don't I try not to use paper or plastic silverware. I always, wash my dishes. Like I am conscious about it, right? Like, I try not to use straws at all. Like I hate the paper straws. I think they're a disaster. But who needs a straw? I don't even use a straw. Like, but that's me, right? So you can have these green pods. The thing I love about these green pods is all you got to do is cut down like 2 trees, or you find a spot where you don't have to cut down any trees. And you guys know what I said before, living in a freaking rainforest is a disaster. Like you're gonna die. Like there's a reason why most people live in cities and not in the forest. But if you want to live in the forest, this is probably the most eco-friendly way to live in the forest. This thing collects rainwater, I'm sure. Again, good question. Like I think this is such an awesome project, and I really hope it succeeds. I'm not an investor, not a promoter. I don't get paid to promote this thing. I just think it's super cool. But yeah, so check them out. They have a YouTube channel as well. They should put like a link tree up here. I'll tell them. I'm gonna see these guys soon. And Chad and I are speakers at this event, by the way. Where is mine? So the other speaker here is gonna be Chad. So me and Chad are gonna be the keynote speakers at this event here. And they're having their thing over here. But it's not public that they're having it, right? So you gotta find a way to reach out. All right. And after that, I am off to Traffic Summit. That's in Turkey. I'm going to go directly from Panama to Turkey for Traffic Summit. Check that out as well. And after that, I am off to the UAE. And after that, I am off to Bali for the Financial Summit. And then I'll keep you posted on the rest of my travels. Well, yeah, no, of course I fly in a plane. I'm not going to swim over the Atlantic. I also didn't use masks. The biggest pollutant of the ocean in the last couple of years was probably masks. It's like 1 billion masks floating around the ocean. You do what you can. I'm not going to stop flying. That's insane. I believe in technology. I'm not going to stop doing what improves my life, right? But I don't need a straw, so I don't use straws. I don't need to add more plastic to the world by using plastic dishes and forks. I can wash a plate. So you do what you can, and you don't tell others what to do. I'm not telling you not to use a straw. I'm telling you I don't use a straw. Whether that matters to you or not is actually irrelevant. What's the most capitalist South American country? I don't know. It's a hard question. Mexico's not bad. El Salvador hopefully will be the best. I think Costa Rica's pretty good. Panama's pretty good. Nicaragua should be pretty good. I heard Paraguay is really good. Brazil, I think Brazil's good, but I don't like where their election's headed. And I don't like where Colombia election already went. So, and until I go visit Venezuela, I shouldn't really talk about it. I've been to the others. I haven't been to Paraguay yet, or Uruguay, or Peru, or Ecuador. So I haven't been to a lot of them. Have you read the book? No, no, the answer is no. Like anytime the question starts, have you read the book? The answer will be no. I heard a few books on tape. I've read summaries of a lot of books, but I don't have the attention span or the time to read a book. The fourth churning, no, but that's probably the Klaus Schwab Marxist manifestos, I think. Why would I read that? Argentina any good? Not right now, probably. I have no idea. I need to learn Spanish, guys. That's on my to-do. I actually have to get work done, so we're gonna call this a day. All right, so we're probably gonna end it here. Oh, so not a single Asian country. That's the other thing I was saying. Not a single Asian country went loose on COVID restrictions. Not one. And all of them were like more tyrannical than the other. Complete lockdowns. Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, all of them. There was nowhere to hide in Asia. In Latin America, you know, Costa Rica was somewhat open most of the time. Colombia was somewhat open most of the time. Brazil was open for a big fraction of the time. Mexico was open the entire time. Dominican Republic was open the entire time. Panama had like a 6 month of tyranny. Peru had like 6 months of tyranny, right? So even the countries that had straight up tyranny in COVID restrictions, kept it to a shorter time span. Like in Asia, there was nowhere to hide. There was nowhere to hide. In Latin America, there was always at least one country that gave you freedom. And the most tyrannical countries were in Asia and Europe versus Latin America. So Latin America probably fared the best on average. I know Bolivia went nuts at one point, and Peru went nuts at one point. Like, I think someone got killed in Peru or something, or one of the other countries for surfing. Like they did go a little bit overboard, but overall it wasn't as bad as Asia. So that completely turned me off from living in Asia going forward, and it made me realize that Latin America is going to be the future. Phil, amazing what the world went through to remove one man from office. Yes. The answer is I agree. It's very conspiratorial that all of this shit was to remove Trump, but I lean towards that, yes. And then they had to keep it going because they saw the future. But it wasn't just Trump. They had to remove Trump, and now they need to remove Putin, and then they need to remove Xi. And they're going to learn real quick that in trying to remove Putin, they're going to remove themselves. Boris Johnson was first, Draghi is second, Biden is third, and then the rest will start falling like dominoes. Hopefully, Trudeau is fourth. I'm not a Scorpio. I don't understand why anyone needs a straw. I also heard it like messes up your cheek muscles. So there's like, so not only is it a totally useless thing, it's also not the healthiest thing to use. Just drink the damn drink without a straw. I don't understand why it's so challenging. I don't understand how my comment was praising Putin. All I said was this attempt by the West to remove Putin is getting the West leaders removed. I don't see how that's a statement. I don't see how that's a pro-Putin statement. This is a factual statement. Since this global mission to remove Putin and have an overthrow of Russia, we have seen Boris Johnson get kicked out. We are seeing Mario Draghi get kicked out, and we're about to see Biden get kicked out. So I don't understand how stating facts is a pro-Putin. And if you are hearing the fact that I'm pro-Putin, you have very selective hearing. You have no ability to think for yourself. You only listen to what you want to hear. You're not able to listen and process the information. Well, at the moment, I'm living in Panama. This month, anyway. Jordan is the GOAT. I mean, I don't see how that's debatable. LeBron might finish with a better career than Jordan. We can say that. I love talking basketball, guys. It wasn't a sport I played the best. My best two sports were volleyball and baseball, but I don't know any baseball history. I just played baseball. I am paying attention to the Mets, though. I would love to see them win a World Series. Let's go to the price of Bitcoin chart. Like I know very little about baseball, but I know how to. I played, but I hated. I never really watched. I never really paid attention much. I'll watch a playoff game here and there, and but I do know my basketball. And Jordan is the GOAT. I mean, that's not debatable. To me, it's not debatable. The only person that could potentially debate whether Jordan was a better player is Will Chamberlain. Will Chamberlain is the only one that has a claim that he was a better athlete for basketball than Jordan was. But Jordan was a way better winner than Chamberlain. Now, LeBron and like Kareem, for example, maybe Bill Russell can claim that they had a better career in basketball. They played more years. They achieved more success. I mean, LeBron doesn't have as many championships, but LeBron will finish as, you know, a scoring leader and top 5 in assists and pretty good in rebounds. Like they can claim they had a better career, but there's no way LeBron is a better basketball player than Jordan. Like if Jordan didn't retire those 2 years, and then 2 years after, like if Jordan played all the way through, and if Jordan didn't get hurt in his first year with the Wizards, like if Jordan didn't get hurt that year with the Wizards, they might have made it to the finals with a 40-year-old Jordan. So if Jordan didn't retire, obviously he wouldn't be 6'6". He might even be, say, 4'8" or 5'9". But Jordan would have had the equal career to LeBron and Kareem. But Jordan was by far the better basketball player. Yeah, well, I really don't like LeBron. I really don't. He's also on the wrong side of every political issue that he has ever commented on. He's always on the wrong side of every political issue. It's like sad. I never liked Kobe when he was a player. I was never a Kobe fan, but I'm becoming like, in hindsight, I'm like, man, I should have been more of a Kobe fan. Kobe was a lot more on the right side of politics as well, but Kobe also grew up in, outside of America. All right, guys, I'm gonna get going. It's been an hour. No, Chamberlain has 2 championships, not 11. Russell has 11. Chamberlain might have had 11 if he didn't lose like all those game 7s against Russell. Like the difference between Russell and Chamberlain having about 6 or 7 championships each is like a total of 20 points in game 7s. Like Chamberlain and Russell played like 6 or 7 game 7s in the finals against each other, and Boston won them all by an average of like 5 points. So Russell has 11, Chamberlain has 2, but it could have easily been 5 to 6 over like 20 points in game 7s. So it's really unfair to it's a little unfair. And Russell had way better teammates, like way better players as teammates. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it a day. Come to Panama. You will not be disappointed. The hotel rooms are cheap. They're like $100. Try to find a hotel room near a motion dinner theater. It's right in the center of the city center. Where am I here? Right there. Look up the place. There's literally a Marriott next door. Also, the W Hotel's not far. Many hotels. You get a room for like between 100 and 150 bucks, and definitely come down. You will have an amazing time. Well, when I do my political channel, we can like do a whole video on basketball. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on between Lithuania and Kaliningrad. I haven't kept up with the news. Hopefully, Lithuania got smarter and decided not to get invaded by Russia. Look, I don't consider it smart to walk up to a bear and smack them in the face. But some people think it's some people think it's their God-given right to walk up to a bear, smack them in the face, and expect the bear to walk away. So hopefully the leaders of Lithuania get smarter. And don't smack bears in the face. Hey, CryptoMoss, I'll check it out. I'm gonna Google the place you recommended right now. No idea what it is. That's why I don't want to Google it on live air. But oh, it looks like kind of an island. Let's see where that island is. Oh, that's a little far. I have no idea how I'm gonna get there. I'm also kind of broke at the moment. IRS is watching. They're always watching. So I'm broke. I can't do these excursions to crazy islands. That was the recommendation. I've been here. Have I been there? No, I haven't been there. I've been here, Bocas. And I've been here in this area. This is where we're gonna take the yacht to, by the way, on Sunday. And these are all my Panama spots. Yeah, so come and join us. The place is right in city center. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys. We'll answer the price of Bitcoin one last time. It's not changing, and it's bearish. Bye, guys.